Welcome to the TPC Desktop video series. In this video, we're looking at the new Formatting Line Labels options in TPC Desktop 2017. And in particular, we're going to look at stacked label orientation. In the drawing here, which by the way is one of the sample surveys we include now with Traverse PC, in the drawing here, we're going to take a look at stacked above horizontal, parallel, perpendicular, and vertical. And let's take a look at how we do this. These are all stacked labels, so we forced all the labels, both tangent and curve labels, to be stacked, regardless of whether or not they fit on their lines. And we're then controlling how they're oriented. So let's take a look at the first one, horizontal. We right-click or double-click any of the labels or lines here to bring up the Traverse drawing settings for this Traverse. And you can see that the style is set to stacked. And the orientation then is here in the format labels. So this is going to be for the tangents, the control points. We're going to left-click that. And in the stacked section, I see horizontal. And I simply select horizontal from the list here and choose OK. I do the same thing for curves and spirals. Again, they're stacked. Format label. Here's that orientation again. And I choose horizontal from the list. Now, in this particular Traverse, we're forcing all the labels to be stacked. If this was auto, and Traverse PC determined that one of these curve labels didn't fit on the curve, it would stack it, and it would use all of these stacked settings. It would switch from the align settings because the label doesn't fit on the curve to the stack settings when it needs to stack it. Okay. We're just forcing all these labels here to be stacked. So Traverse PC then says, I'm going to draw that label, in this case above the line. I could put all of these stacked labels below, inside or outside, it doesn't matter. I've just chosen above here. But Traverse PC is going to put them above the line and stack them. Now in the next one down, I left all the settings the same, except we've changed the color to blue. And I've gone into each of these control points and curves, left it stacked style, but changed the format now to parallel. So I just went in and selected parallel. And I can do the same with curves and spirals. Come into the format labels, choose parallel. Now I want to remind you that once I find an option that I like, let's say I like this parallel stacked, I can simply come down and save that as a setting. Here I've got one I already created called alignment stacked outside. So this is a format that I have used a number of times now and really like. And it, by the way, uses parallel labels. But you can save these any number of ways that you want, and then they're available for reuse. You can pull these drawing settings up anytime you want. You can also copy settings from one Traverse to another real easily through one of the Traverse tools available. So there's some really neat ways to reuse these formats once you get them set up. And I want you to notice now that in this parallel, Traverse PC has gone into each line segment and said, how is the line segment oriented? This line is due east, so it draws the label due east. This line is northeast, so it draws the label northeast. And again, same way with the curves, it figures out where the center of the curve is and what the orientation would be of the radius point to the center of the curve, and then uses that to orient this label parallel to the curve. Same over here. Okay, let's take a look at perpendicular. This is the one that I used in that alignment option that I saved earlier. I'm going to double click again. We're simply going to go into the control point, make them perpendicular, choose that from the list. Do the same for the curves and spirals, format labels, make them perpendicular, and choose OK. And then finally down here, we did the same with the vertical option, and we simply went in and chose vertical for the options here. I just wanted you to see real quickly that if I do stack these labels, I have the freedom then to determine how they're oriented: horizontal, parallel, perpendicular, or vertical. Now keep in mind that we can always come in with any of these labels and reorient them. Okay, I can right click, go to properties, and tell Traverse PC I don't want 90 degrees math angle or 0 degrees bearing. I can put whatever I want in here. Okay, so I can put in a 70 degree and modify any of these as I want. The great thing about having the orientation options, however, is that I'm going to let Traverse PC do the bulk of the heavy lifting and create the labels throughout the traverses the way I want. And I'm going to find I have to do very little of this modifying individual labels